Hello, Max here to bring you all the info on the PTR competitive mode and a response from Jeff Kaplan regarding some of the feedback so far. I wanted to make sure I'd played a good few hours before getting a video out so I could give you my own feelings, but with a ping of 200 it was less responsive than a dead slug. However, I persevered and completed all 10 of my placement matches and was given a skill rating of 51. The highest skill rating is 100 and the lowest is 1. It's not as simple as win one game to gain one rating. You will need to win or lose multiple games to move up or down a skill rating. The amount of progress won or lost is based on the difficulty of your opponents. You are rewarded with a spray for taking part, and there is an animated version of the spray for finishing in the top 500 in your region. But Max, I'll never finish in the top 500. I don't care about exclusive sprays. How do I flaunt my bad taste and shove a golden gun in my enemy's face? The golden guns unlock on a per character basis and cost 300 competitive points each. You'll earn 1 competitive point from a competitive mode win and nothing from a loss. Jeff did state in a post previously that high skilled players would earn their golden guns faster. So in a bout of wild speculation, I've come to the conclusion that at the end of the season you may receive competitive points equal to your skill rating. Let me say again, this is just speculation and based on no facts or information provided by Blizzard, but it would be a nice bonus at the end of the season and would help us get those shiny golden guns a little faster, and is based on player performance. If that's the case and you're a middle of the pack kind of player like me, around 50 skill rating, you'll need about 500 competitive games to get your golden gun. That's 250 wins at a 50-50 win rate. Obviously there are some variants I'm not taking into account, like if you win a lot of your first games as you climbed up to your appropriate skill rating, but give me a break. I'm just a simple YouTuber with a GCSE at grade C in maths. Now onto the game modes. Control maps are a best of 5 instead of a best of 3. This means you need to play more than 3 rounds, i.e. if one team isn't completely humiliated and pummeled into the ground 3-0, you repeat some of the rounds. This is where my first problem with the system arises. It's only a small gripe and not game breaking at all, but I personally already am not the biggest fan of control maps. Despite the fact it usually means I get to play Tracer, my first love in Overwatch, this is just a gameplay thing. She looks like a child and sounds like she should be sweeping chimneys. But she drives like a race car. Okay, that sounded far more pervy than I intended. Maybe I should have cut that out. Best of 5 on King of the Hill maps is a lot of King of the Hill. If you get 2 control maps in a row, that could mean smashing out 10 rounds of control point wrestling. It gets a little boring, and without hero limits, I suspect the meta will settle around double Winston, double Lucio, and it puts me off clicking that button again for fear of getting yet another control map. Blizzard have done this to try and bring the length of a control map more in line with the other maps, and from my playtesting this is accurate. I spent roughly 20 minutes in every competitive game I played. I don't have a solution for this, and it will likely just be occasionally annoying when you get 2 control maps in a row. C'est la vie. The system they've gone with for assault maps is very interesting. Both teams have 10 minutes on the clock to attack. After capturing objective B, the time taken is deducted from the overall 10 minutes. Each team takes turns to attack until they are unable to complete the map in the time they have remaining. A point is scored for each objective captured and the team with the most points wins. If it's a draw, it will go to sudden death. We'll discuss sudden death in a moment. I like this system, but it does still have concerns. My biggest one is that Team 1 attacks and has that lucky team fight that snowballs into a quick win. Team 2 attack, win some team fights but are not able to have that snowball and they get stuck trying to take objective B. Temple of Anubis is a prime example of how much you can get stuck if you don't get that snowball. Maybe the answer here is just get good, but it would be frustrating bashing your head against that objective B when you know the enemy managed to snowball that quick easy win. Escort and hybrid maps of course work differently. Both sides will attack and defend, so the map is played twice, once when attacking and once when defending. Every objective or checkpoint reached by the attackers scores 1 point. So for example, on King's Row, if you successfully deliver the payload, you will score 3 points. There is no way to score points as the defending team. If the score is a draw after both teams have attacked, it will go to sudden death. When sudden death begins, a coin is flipped and the attacking team is decided. The attacking team now have 2 minutes to capture an objective and decide the winner of the match. Overtime mechanics are still in effect, however overtime is now only 3 seconds instead of the regular 6. This sudden death is about as balanced as Gabe Newell and Jeff Kaplan on a seesaw. All of the objectives on asymmetrical maps are all favoured one way or the other, usually for the attackers. Reducing the time to 2 minutes obviously does help the defending team a lot, but is it enough? In my only sudden death game so far, I really felt like we were the better team. It was King's Row and we almost held objective A when defending and successfully pushed the payload in 5 minutes when attacking. We were defending during the sudden death and we won. So this leaves me with no real conclusion because I felt we should have beat them even with the attacker's advantage. However, experience of the game and watching competitive tournaments leaves me feeling this is not balanced. The community in general are not happy with the coin flip nature of this overtime, and Jeff Kaplan has written a large post on the forums responding to the competitive mode feedback. There is a link to it in the description. In the short term, they are going to reduce the time in sudden death to 1 minute 45 seconds, but they plan to abolish the coin flip nature of sudden death and maybe remove it completely in the future. This would then have games finishing on a draw. If a game could end in a draw, they want to greatly reduce the chances of that happening, and in the current point system, it is happening far too often. To resolve this, the point system on escort hybrid maps will need to change. Jeff has proposed a similar system to assault maps where there is a total amount of time each team will continue to push the payload until the time runs out, and whoever pushes it the furthest wins. This is all well and good, but they've been so against stopwatch mechanics because they don't want to force everyone to use fast push tactics. With this in mind, I don't see what the difference is between what's being suggested and a stopwatch system. I really think the best system would be a version of stopwatch. The attacking team do their thing with all the mechanics that are currently in quick play. However fast they complete the map, this is now the overall time available to Team 2 when they attack. If that time counts down before Team 2 pushes the payload, Team 1 wins, but you keep the overtime mechanics. If Team 2 are on the payload when the time runs out, Team 2 get the full overtime they would normally expect, and if they win, this is the draw, or sudden death. This way we have the stopwatch and keep overtime and draws. I think this system is far better than having us keep pushing that payload like a modern day Sisyphus. All in all, I think the competitive mode needs some work, but I thoroughly enjoyed playing my games solo. The ping was horrendous, but the general attitudes of the players were amazing. Everyone was communicating well and very much trying everything they can to win. Out of the 15 or so games I played, I only had a couple with unresponsive players who couldn't build a team with IKEA instructions. I know this isn't the best yardstick, as it's possible the majority of those on the PTR are there because they are excited for the new mode and want to test it so it can be the best it can possibly be. But I'm still hopeful for my solo queue competitive experience. Before I go, I want to let you know that tomorrow night, that's Friday, June 24th at 9 PM Central European Summertime, Martin and I will be taking part in an ESL show match with other Overwatch YouTubers and streamers. It will be cast by Jason and Mitch on the ESL Overwatch channel and should be a lot of fun. For full details and other updates, follow me on Twitter @TotallyFutile. Thanks for watching, take it easy, and I'll see you soon.